Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Two Buds One Podcast, episode 29. So close to the big 30 episodes. I am your host, the Techno Jelly. Here I am with my co-host, Alchem Games. Alchem, how are you today?
Yes, I'm doing all right.
Doing all right.
Having a chill day.
Today, we are going to be trying something slightly different. Normally, I bring in like news stories or articles. I am still doing that, but I also wanted to talk about Alchem about something. It's kind of related to one of the stories, technically, loosely. But the biggest story I wanted to talk about to Alchem today is something that even though we're a little bit late on it, I figured like we have to talk about it, and that's Nintendo suing Palworld. Like, it has to. We have to talk about this. How much do you know about this?
I don't know the gist of what exactly they're trying to sue them for, because honestly, it sounds so vague from what I heard and what I looked up myself.
It's purposely vague. Purposely. But with some, like, asterisks. So basically...
Yeah, because... okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't know. From the vagueness on my mind is like thinking, is this just a slap suit to get them to shut up or get them to back off or something?
I don't think it's that.
I don't think
it's that.
Yeah.
It is, from what I can tell, from what at least internet lawyers have told me, is that the suit itself is not poorly written or anything like that. The vagueness is on purpose because they're kind of they're trying to swat with a big hand, basically.
Oh, okay, that's what they're doing.
Because the key difference between this is that when a lot of people saw this, they assumed they were suing over the Pokemon designs and stuff like that for copyright, right? Yeah. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are not suing Palworld or the what are the devs' names again? Sorry, Pocket Pair. They're not suing them over copyright. They are suing them over patent violations.
Legal mechanics.
The legal mechanics. So the patents they're being sued over are the suit doesn't say which patents, which the Palworld devs have actually spoken out relatively recently about like what they're being sued over, and they haven't been told which patents they are breaking.
Very weird.
Not necessarily. You can basically basically, from what I understand, at least, and I guess we should preface this, that neither Alchem or I are a lawyer, so I'm going off of what internet lawyers / people that know more about law than I do, because this is also Japanese law, so this is also another thing too, is that you don't need to, like, the more specific you are is the deeper in the court proceedings you are. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like, if Nintendo put this if the Nintendo put this lawsuit on, and then the Pocket Pair were like, okay, we'll just take it down then it would be like, okay, well then they don't need to continue doing this, and they don't need to be more specific because that would cost more money, right? So it would be, it's more like, because Pocket Pair is going to fight this, which they've said they are going to fight this, it's going to be a throwdown in the courtroom. So that means Nintendo has to be more specific. But it's, sorry, it's pretty obvious which patents are going to be the problem. I wonder if I can find this, but I know the gist of the patent. So let me just make sure. So the biggest problem is that, and this can be also said for something that's just not world, but like, oh god, okay, wait, I forgot. I did Googling on a thing without a certain blocker, and my browser is literally dying. Okay, let me get into the one that I normally look stuff up on. Okay, there we go. Now I can actually look at the article. I also had a problem. This is like a general problem I have with it as well, because it's super annoying. But these patents when you were talking about a video game patent, if anyone doesn't know, and I assume, to be fair, I assume Alchem you kind of know, but it is not. It's a patent about game mechanics, which I super don't agree with because I hate the fact that patents exist for video game mechanics. But they do exist, and unfortunately, they are enforced. So the patent that is being infringed upon is right now once again being guessed at, but it is a patent describing basically creatures being kept in balls on capture mechanics, basically.
Okay, that's what I heard. That's the one thing that I remember hearing, that
Yeah.
they're trying to get this whole thing started on the capture mechanic, saying that the Pokemon or Nintendo or at least whatever the heck, Game Freak, I guess,
The Pokemon,
is the one who,
the Pokemon company.
Yeah, Pokemon company is the one who patented the capture mechanic for throwing a ball at a creature to catch it. And I think
Yes.
that's ridiculous.
So it is creature catching mechanics is what they specifically patented, which is super dumb. And secondly, Power World came out roughly like what 2 to 3 years ago now, if I remember correctly. It's still technically early access, so I know it's not 1.0, but it's been released out in the world for about 2 years ish.
Yeah.
This patent was first submitted in July of 2024. So this is a couple month old patent. Like it was submitted in July. And oh gosh. It's like this patent is so broad that even the people that are talking about this, like even the people who like want to try to defend Nintendo, don't agree with this patent because it's too broad.
Yeah.
Because
the timing doesn't make sense to justify trying to file a suit against the creators of Power World.
Yeah. And also that the patent itself is so broad that they'd have to fight so many games. Because like there's so many games where you capture creatures in it. Yeah. Like so many games.
They're basically they're going to start something that a lot of other developers will jump at and say, hey, wait a minute, we have this kind of thing. We also did this. We created this capture mechanic thing too. Or we use it in our games too.
Yeah, and just to make sure that everyone understands this, Pokemon is not an original game. Like, no. Pokemon took stuff from tons of game genres. Like, the Pokemon themselves are unique to Pokemon. I'm not saying that. Like, if Power World ripped the models from Pokemon, yes, that is illegal and they should be punished for that. But the capture mechanic isn't even unique to Pokemon. Like, other games have done that before like Pokemon existed, I'm pretty sure. And some of the Pokemon themselves are actually not copies, but heavily influenced from it's the JRPG, really old JRPG.
Monster Quest.
Yes, yeah.
Or Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest, yeah. Dragon Quest.
Monster Quest. I don't even know what
the yeah, I understand what you meant though. But so like it's weird. And
I just think it's weird that they're trying to enforce something that they only just patented now, and they're going to try to retroactively enforce it against Power World, which has made their game before Nintendo filed this patent. Hilarious. What if someone else filed it before Nintendo? Could they have been in the right there? Could Nintendo have been screwed? I mean, I don't think the courts will. I mean, this is again Japanese court, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, from how I see it, I really don't think they'll be able to enforce anything, and it just seems like they're grasping at straws. Like they the reason it took them so long was probably because they were looking for every single angle they could probably do. If they found, yeah, if they found like the smoking gun, if they already found that they like copied a design like from their from their files or something,
Yeah.
then I'm pretty sure Nintendo would have jumped in immediately.
They already would have done that. Like Nintendo wouldn't have waited 2 years. And it was already proven. It was already proven multiple times that the Power World devs, while yes, no one is going to argue that they are heavily influenced from Pokemon, they are their own, like they're artists and model designers and all that stuff. They did their work. Sure.
Yeah.
Did they have a couple Pokemon as references to draw inspiration? Of course. Like, I don't think anyone with a reasonable brain will disagree with that. But they didn't trace it. They didn't steal the model. It was just heavily influenced. And once again, to be fair, like some of the Pokemon do look similar, but that's also because some of the Pokemon are animals and some of the pals are animals. Like the sheep pal and the sheep Pokemon. Yeah, they technically look similar, but that's because they both look like a sheep. You know, it's like Pokemon doesn't own a sheep.
Yeah, like it just seems so. I'm honestly looking forward to see what happens here. Like what further things I say besides patents, because like I said, it just sounds like grasping at straws. They're trying to get whatever they can to try to stop that. They just use similar inspirations, maybe similar design styles. Other than that, that's it.
I mean, the craziest thing is that the patent that they're like, okay, so apparently there is 28 patents they could technically be violating, I guess is the correct term. But there are like more bigger ones than the smaller ones, you know what I mean? Or that are they're infringing upon. That's the word I was trying to find out. So yeah. It's basically, yeah, it is literally just describing creature capture mechanics. And like taming mechanics basically. Which, by the way, just as a side dispute, shouldn't be a patent. Also, how, like, are you gonna...
The concept of taming an animal, whether it's a digital animal or not, is not Nintendo's to do. I mean, you've been doing that since, I mean, does Tamagotchi
so count? Many games have do that.
Yeah, there's so many games that have done that kind of thing of taming an animal.
Some of them also buy Nintendo, so, like, like... I don't know.
It makes no sense to do.
It's such a bad thing.
They're opening up a can of worms by doing this, because if they start this, then a lot of other people are going to jump the gun and say, "What about us? What about us? What about?" I mean, for fuck's sake, Digimon exists. Monster Ranchers exist.
Yeah,
there's
the funny
so many other games that have them. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say the hilarious thing is like the fact that they're suing Power World before Digimon is hilarious. Because
what happened to that one game that was like Pokemon and everyone was into it, but then it just kind of fizzled out? Yeah. What happened there? Where was Nintendo for that?
I don't know.
They didn't do anything.
To be fair, Temtem had their own problems, to be fair.
Yeah. But
I actually owned that game. It was fun.
And nothing. Yeah. They did that and then nothing. Nintendo didn't like bat an eye. Power World does this.
Power got
just
too
gives
popular.
them guns. Happens to be incredibly well received, and apparently they're like, no, Nintendo's got to strike.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that Temtem didn't have 25 million players like Power World did. That's the main problem. Power World got too popular, and which means the Nintendo lawyers have to get involved. Which, like, okay, I fear for a world where Nintendo wins this. I just the good thing is that Pocket Pair, the developers of Power World, they did have 25 million players. They sold crazy amounts of copies. So as long as they've been relatively smart, they have deeper pockets than most indie companies. So they can fight Nintendo. You know, does Nintendo have way more money? Yes. But, you know, like, I don't see Pocket Pair running out of money by the time this lawsuit keeps going, you know? Unless they manage to keep this lawsuit going for 20 years or something like that, you know? But Pocket Pair has like, we don't know their finances, but like they potentially have tens of millions of dollars.
Just lost it all.
Yeah. I mean, if they were broke, they wouldn't be trying to fight this. You know?
True.
They've already come out and said they're fighting this. So like it's one of those things where, like, funny enough, out of all the companies that they try to do this against, Pocket Pair is probably the one with the deepest pockets, comparatively to all of them. So it's like they are the ones that can actually probably fight it, which is good because they should fight it because this is dumb.
It's either Nintendo wins and makes an example and uses the biggest version of this to make a biggest example for everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
I
fear for the, like, if Nintendo wins this kills any competition, because you can just make a game, patent the mechanics, and now no one can fight you. Imagine if imagine if Doom, when it first came out, patented the first person perspective. Like, it would just kill everything. It's insane. So we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on this, and hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to tell you that the Pocket Pair won. Because this is really dumb. This reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, Alchem, but one of the coolest things about it's the Lord of the Rings game, Shadow of Mordor, the first one. I can't remember which one it is, but the Lord of the Rings game. Do you remember the Nemesis system?
Yeah,
that's patented, which is why no one else uses it. It's like an amazing system, but because they patented it, no one can use it.
And they don't use it ever again.
And they used it in the sequel. They used it in the first game and in the sequel, and now it's never used again, because no one is willing to go against the patent, which I don't blame developers, because you shouldn't try to go against the patent, but the fact that it exists and just killed all games like it, like, I would have loved iterative games on that system, because that Nemesis system was amazing.
The issue with creativity, the issue with protecting your creativity, is you basically cause a stranglehold on any other inspiration that you could have potentially caused from anyone, because anything that even remotely looks or sounds or whatever it is that you made that was unique, that you put a patent on, no one can take inspiration from it, because you basically can shoot it down. So innovation dies with that. No one's gonna ever make a Nemesis system kind of thing for a combat game, because it won't. Because
no one.
Someone has.
Why would someone try to find it? Like, I agree with copyright in terms of, like, you know, I think the Pokeball should be copyrighted. You know, Lord of the Rings should be copyrighted. Sure, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But a mechanic, I don't think should be patented or copyrighted or anything like that, because, like, it just kills everything. Yeah, the video game market thrives on competition. And it just kills all competition. Not the mechanics. Nintendo should own Pokemon. No one should make a Pokemon game other than Nintendo or the Pokemon Company. But throwing a ball at a creature and capturing it should not be a Pokemon only thing.
Yeah.
It's especially considering how, even when you think about it, the Power World, literally that's the only thing similar to Pokemon, because Power World is a survival game with base construction, which is not anything close to Pokemon, which is a JRPG. It's insane. And I'm gonna flip a table.
Definitely want to make. No, wait, you need that table. Don't
nope.
flip it.
I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip the table in rage.
God damn it. No. You don't even. We need this table. This is like our only table. We don't have that. We don't have another
it's
PNG
true.
of a table.
We don't have another table. All right, fine. This table survives for now. We can't afford it. Understandable. You're right, Alchem. We can't afford a new table. Okay.
Exactly.
So, Alchem, the other story. I have two stories today. That was the first one because I wanted to talk about it. I knew for a fact that you would agree with me, so I just wanted to talk to you about it. This one is another thing where we're definitely going to agree upon because it's hilarious. We've talked about this game forever, and I can't help it, Alchem. I have to keep beating the dead horse. But Concord cost $400 million to make. It's official. It cost $400 million to make and was pitched to Sony as a Star Wars-like franchise for them.
Wasn't that the? I did see a video that talked, and that was like the idea they were gonna do.
That was the idea for it.
They were gonna create this in-game universe and make it a franchise and do all this amazing stuff. They were shooting for the stars with this.
They were literally shooting for they were going to the moon for this game. Like
yeah, they were.
The more and more I learned, the more and more, yeah, the more and more I like learn about this game, the more and more I'm like, wow. They really did think this game was going to go places. Like, they fully thought this game was going to go crazy.
I'll be honest with you. It looks like it could have had the potential, but no one knew. No one knew this thing existed. And, I mean, granted, the design choice with the character looks were kind of lackluster. There was still potential. Like, you could still see this was a fully functioning game. The mechanics worked. Yeah. I mean, hell, if they just took additional time to work on the designs, maybe just say, hey, well, currently we're still testing stuff out. We'll redesign a little bit. But no, they didn't advertise anything. They put out like one or two advertisements saying this will explain everything. It didn't explain anything.
Yep.
And then the game came out, and everyone was like, "What? Huh? This was it?" Hell, half the people who, by the time the game finally went under and they said we're done, some people were like, "Wait, you made a game?
Yeah.
What? It's gone?"
It died in less than 2 weeks. It was like exactly 2 weeks or something like that.
I'm pretty sure some people ordered this thing online and got it after the game went down.
Yeah. No, I don't. Well, I mean, luckily for them, they get full refunds. So
yeah, of course, but I just think it's so funny that like
that shipping actually took longer than the game survived.
Exactly. Like, holy, this was a colossal blunder in terms of video games. Like some games just fail because over time no one joins it, no one plays, and it usually is like a month or like the shortest amount of time I think was not Titanfall. I'm trying to remember. There was this one game where you're piloting mecha, like armored suits. I don't remember.
You mean the name of it though? Was it the 6v6 Gundam game?
No. Well, that lasted like half a year, and that lasted like 6 months.
Yeah.
There was another one.
Was it only 6 months? I thought it lasted a year.
I think it maybe lasted a year, and they just ended in November. Which
I remember there was also that Square. There was that Square Enix live service game that they came out called
Anthem.
Anthem.
I remember Anthem. The
BioWare
Anthem lasted
game.
I think Anthem lasted like maybe 4 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
Or like it was
about
not
half a
that
year.
long, and then it was
about half a year. Babylon's Fall is the game I was thinking of. I think. It's a game. It's a game that literally used Final Fantasy 14 assets from Square Enix. Because it was a Square Enix game. They weren't stealing anything. Like they were just taking the assets from the game and using it because I don't know. It was a disaster. But yeah, it was. Yeah, the more I learn about Concord, Alchem, the more I'm like, man, this was a disaster from the beginning. Like even looking at in some of the interviews, like apparently the studio working on it, Fire Rush, it was like a very big toxic positivity attitude towards it. Like no criticism allowed. Like you must be positive about it. It was the future of Sony. Like it being the future of the Sony, like it being a future Sony franchise was like really hardcore pushed, and it
wait,
was
hold on.
holding
Sorry, toxic positivity?
toxic positivity.
You mean like just a bunch of yes men?
No. So what toxic positivity, have you never heard of the phrase toxic positivity? I'm surprised.
No, all I can think of is people just basically being positive about something, but in like heinous, terrible ways. Like, you better talk good, or else you're gonna go to corporate, or you're gonna get a call from HR or something.
Basically, yes. So it's not necessarily.
Oh, are you kidding?
It's not yes men. It's more like, no matter how negative or bad things are going, you must see the positive side of something, which, you know, sometimes is a good way to look at it, but like not all the time. But that was the only way to look at something. So no matter what, you must be positive about it. And if you say anything negative, you're going to get a talking to, basically.
Always look on the bright side.
Yeah, basically.
Concord is shit.
But in a very bad way.
Oh my god.
It's just like, the more and more I learn about it, the more and more I'm like, man, you know, and the problem is the game, it was okay. Like, it wasn't a bad game. It was a boring game, and that's different. Because like, that's honestly,
also a sin
yeah, you know, the sad thing is, I think if you gave those developers one more year or like of development time, I think it would have been fine. I do still think they needed to, like, the biggest problem was that this game could not be a paid product. It has to be free to play, because the game industry has changed. For hero shooters or first person shooters, unless your name is Call of Duty or Battlefield, you must be free to play, or you're a single player indie shooter. Those three styles of games, you are paid. If you are not that, you must be free to play.
If your game is just a multiplayer shooter and does not have any semblance of a story or any semblance of single player action, anything that is replayable offline, not having to be with the multiplayer aspect, then yeah, it should definitely be free. And even with what I just said, the price should vary depending on the extensiveness of your story. Because a story can't just push a game and make it be a $60 title.
Yep.
It has to be something really good. Your mechanics have to be awesome. You have to be on point. Your story has to be incredible. Everyone's
or just really fun.
Everyone's tired of paying for a multiplayer shooter that's online only because everyone's doing it. Everyone. There's so many different options. You're not alone. You're not.
Well, and you're also fighting some of the biggest games in the world.
Yes.
Because if you're going for multiplayer, I mean, not just COD though, you're fighting also like
COD is free too. Warzone.
Well, Warzone's free, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're also like, even if you include the Battle Royale games, you're also fighting Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, PUBG is free to play nowadays too. Like
Overwatch.
What are some other big ones in the shooting genre?
In the shooting genre, you mentioned COD, you mentioned that. Did you mention not League? What is that one?
Valorant.
Well, Valorant. Yeah, there's Valorant. What is the one that Valorant's supposed to be like the anime version of
Counter-Strike?
Counter-Strike, yeah.
I guess Siege as well. Siege also has a pretty big community.
Shroud, I think Shroud's new game came
Spectre Divider.
Is it Shroud? Yeah, Spectre Divider.
I mean, that game is not as big, but definitely still competition. But I mean, they played it right though. They played it right. They're a different game and they're free to play.
Yeah, exactly. So they're
trying something new.
Lots of options.
So like
lots of them.
And Concord was just not it. Like it was.
Nope.
I mean, to be fair, the unique idea was the whole banning. Like once you win a round with a character, you can't play them again. But that's just a bad mechanic. Because like the whole point,
wasn't it?
No,
wait.
No, because it's during the round. It's during the round.
Oh yeah, it's like it's the same thing that they did with a couple of other games. I know Overwatch did it where you did like elimination rounds, and then if you won, you couldn't pick that same hero.
But that's not the ranked mode.
It's not a unique design.
Well, it's not even, but the problem is that was their ranked mode.
That's oh my god. Oh no, they
I'm-
were fucked. They were
yeah,
so screwed
it's-
from the beginning. Oh my god.
And it's just, it's like every worst possible thing that happened to them specifically. And so with that, I mean, okay, I hope one day, Alchem, while we're doing the, on episode like 200 and something of this podcast, because
Yes, we
say, I tell you, Alchem, I've been playing Concord when it's the re-release Concord, and it's a great game. It's free to play. It's a fun game. I enjoyed it. And you'll be like, first of all, you won't believe me. You'll think I'll be paid. It's a paid sponsorship, and I'll tell you, I promise I haven't been paid, as I am drowning in money because they did in fact pay me.
This podcast has been paid for. Concord.
This podcast has been sponsored by Concord. Please give me money. That's my official.
Damn, you didn't even advertise the game. You just give me money.
Damn it. But yeah, I hope one day that we'll be able to say, yeah, Concord's back and it's in its proper place, of not at the top, but somewhere in the middle. Because, that's probably where that's probably its best case scenario. Because I don't think this game is ever going to be the game.
No,
I just don't see it.
I'm sorry, Sony. You wasted like years and years and millions of dollars. And
yep.
I honestly, they should have looked at the writing on the wall when everyone was like, "What? What? Like, I don't understand." if you could see the train wreck coming, which everyone did, everyone could see it coming,
except for the developers and them apparently.
Why didn't they? Someone at the very end green lights. This game goes live. They should have. I don't know what happened there. So, I feel like someone should have been behind the wheel and been like, "Yeah, we need to hit the brakes and redesign. This thing looks like ass." Oh god, it's the ugly Sonic of FPS shooters. Oh no.
Maybe. I don't know about the comeback though. The comeback is definitely in question.
I don't think for the amount of time and money, I think it would be in their best interest to actually do something with it, and
well, they had to try again,
make something. Yeah.
Like, you literally bought the studio that was making it for $200 million. You have this game must come out and try again, because at this point, like, okay, if that wasn't your play, then Concord should have been what we said originally. Lasted like 6 months. It would have petered along, and then it would have shut down, and then everyone would have gotten fired, unfortunately. Or Firework would have been shut down. Which, sucks, but like that's what it would have happened. But the fact that they took it down, apologized, and gave everyone full refunds, something has to be happening behind the scenes. They
better be doing something. I mean, if they just sit on this IP and nothing else, that's the stupidest thing ever. The biggest waste of time, money, people's talents. I'm pretty sure most of the people who designed this stuff, they want no affiliation with it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I doubt it's even on their LinkedIn page or stuff like that. If people who worked at Fireworks Studio left, that I highly expect them to never mention unless directly asked if they worked at Fireworks Studios. or you say, "Oh yeah, I worked on it, but when Sony bought them, I left." Or something like that. No, that's like the best case scenario. Or just try your best to never mention it.
I do like that everyone is reviewing it and seeing what the hell happened, and you are finding out these weird situations with the company and
well, apparently
the dev team.
Yeah, apparently internally it was referred to as the future of PlayStation, with Star Wars-like potential.
Oh my!
That was what it was known as internally.
Oh my god!
Now, to be fair, this is from an anonymous source who doesn't want to be named. So, like, you have to go with that. With there's a little bit of grain of salt there, but I'm getting it from some like Dextro and like other relatively, and they're not the only people saying it. So like, it seems to be relatively close to the truth. Maybe exaggerated, probably. You Gotta get the clicks and all that type of stuff. So maybe it's a little exaggerated, but I can definitely see them thinking that this game was going to be the future of PlayStation because they always talked about it like that. Even in like the small amount of marketing that we saw, like everyone, they kept saying like this was going to be the future of PlayStation or something. That they literally said that at one point. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, and honestly, the whole, you know how you and I, Alchem, are just so shocked that they couldn't see this. The culture of being the culture of the dev team being a toxic positivity environment makes sense why they didn't see it. Because they just weren't allowed to.
Yeah, I mean that's the
you
only
weren't allowed
reason
to
I can
mention
ever
it.
think of why this
Don't mention it.
Greenlighted. Yeah.
So yeah,
Just so
it's not a good look, and this goes off with the topic I wanted to talk about to you, Alchem, with, and that is why Sony sucks now. Because I think Sony is just bad. I don't know if bad is the right word, but like I think they've gone really lazy because they don't have anyone to fight anymore. Competition is gone because Xbox has given up in the console war. Let's be real. Xbox has lost the console war, right? And Nintendo is so... They lost, Alchem. Are you going to try to argue that they didn't lose?
Halo could come back again.
I doubt it.
I mean,
people need to. People need to.
Gears.
It's true, but the problem is that people need to own Xbox consoles in order to play those games, and nobody owns an Xbox console.
Yeah. Right.
It's like it.
I can see that truth. Yeah.
Like, sure, Xbox can make good games, but people don't play the Xbox games on an Xbox. They play it on PC, or they don't play it.
I'll say this: the reason why.
Oh my God! I don't know what happened.
You
there.
just had a stroke.
I just had a stroke, but it's okay. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. So I think it has to do with one major thing. Originally consoles were innovative and everyone didn't have online, so having a console made sense for a lot of gamers.
Yep.
As soon as online play was starting to become more and more of a thing, the console started to lose their practicality, but they added practicality by at least putting in, like, they could be your home device thing, because I remember they were advertising it too, that you could use it to watch videos, to stream stuff.
Yeah,
and it became
I guess so.
people's streaming device.
True.
Now, people don't need that. Most people have a smart TV. Most people have, like, just either have those little Hulu boxes or whatever the hell else that could connect.
There's a lot of options now.
Yeah, you don't need a massive, like, $600, $700 console that can play some games, and also function as a streaming device, because, I mean, most of those games are probably on PC anyway. And you don't need it for a streaming device, so it loses that functionality, it loses that purpose.
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with, like, because of online, because, like, the PlayStation 2 was also the cheapest DVD player, right?
Yeah, it is.
And, like, that was before online play really hit it big.
You're right. That was before online play.
And, like, the Dreamcast's big thing was that it could play CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So it was technically an MP3 player, which
it was, but that's what I'm getting at. They were advertising themselves. Yeah. Besides a console, they were also advertising themselves as some other practical device.
Yeah, I guess so.
And losing that because you don't need it. Once they stopped functioning as, like, DVD players and other stuff like that, they lost their practicality.
Yeah, PlayStation 3 was the cheapest Blu-ray player.
Exactly.
And PlayStation 4 is a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, PlayStation 4 was a PlayStation 4, and I don't know that many people who got it, except for those who really, really wanted some of the exclusive games, which
Bloodborne,
at the time,
basically.
The exclusivity era was starting to fade out. I mean, hell, there was a joke. Here's a PlayStation 4 with no games on it.
Yeah, that was basically, unless you wanted to play Bloodborne, you'd... Actually, wait, no, Bloodborne wasn't PlayStation 4, it was PlayStation 3, wasn't it?
It was PlayStation 3, yeah. most of the really
God
top
of War, I guess.
yeah, that's the
That was
only one. And then
basically it.
eventually it became on PC.
True.
And so and now we're in like the 6th generation, 5th generation. I don't even know anymore.
We're close to the 9th. This is the 9th.
We're in the 9th generation of gaming.
I guess it depends when you start, but generally it's considered the 9th.
True. We're in the 9th generation of gaming, and they have no practicality anymore. There's no reason to own the console besides to have an exclusive play their exclusives, which, to be honest, not that many. There's no console sellers no more. There's I mean, back in the day, you had the console selling games.
Well, that's what I was also saying. Like, Sony feels like they gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Microsoft has given up specifically on consoles. But in terms of games, they turn out new games like every month. They're like, the only problem is that Microsoft is the only company that can do this because they're literally bleeding gallons and gallons of money every day because of Game Pass. Because Game Pass just isn't profitable, and I don't know how long they can keep this up with because Game Pass is losing them so much money.
Shut up, they're gonna catch on.
No, they already know. We've seen this. They already know, and it's just like there has to be some like what's the plan? What's the plan here, guys? Because like you've lost, basically you've been losing since the Xbox One. Since the Xbox One, Microsoft has been losing, and Sony has been winning against Microsoft specifically, because everyone gave up fighting Nintendo because Nintendo just pimp slapped them both. The Switch came out and they just pimp slapped them, and they're like, we're actually the best. Nintendo lawyers, Nintendo as a corporation sucks, but Nintendo as a video game maker are amazing. And honestly, that's all you have to be. If you're good at making video games, people will let things go crazy amounts because Nintendo is awful in so many ways, except for when they make good video games, because they make tons of good video games.
It just needed to be fun, and that's literally what they did, and that was it. They did not.
I mean,
do
it's hard
else.
to. I mean, we talked about this last week. It's hard to talk about a bad first-party Nintendo game. Like, they're very few and far between. And the fact that some of them are notable because they're the exception. You know? Like, it's really rare that Nintendo drops the ball when it comes to video games. They drop the ball in so many other ways, but when it comes to pure fun and entertainment, and when it comes to making video games, they're amazing at that. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because Sony is just so sad to see them. They have so many games and franchises that they haven't touched in years, and the fact, okay, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna
don't you dare.
I'm gonna preface this as like, I don't want to. This is not to make fun of or downplay how good of a game it is, but the fact that Astrobot is probably going to be the best PlayStation game this year is kind of sad, because Astrobot is an amazing game, don't get me wrong, but the fact that that is the game that is like, that's like the only PlayStation 5 game in existence. Like I said, Astrobot looks like an amazing game. I don't own a PlayStation 5, so I've never played it. I'm never gonna own a PlayStation 5. But
I'm never gonna play it either. It looks good.
Like, unless it comes to PC, I'm never gonna play it. But like the fact that that is going to be the best game on PlayStation 5 for a long time is not a bad thing, but it's a weird thing because Sony has so many brands, or not brands, sorry. There's so many IPs.
No, they said they don't have any.
Yeah, apparently they don't have any. And like
they haven't fostered any IPs, so they don't have any now.
Exactly. And the fact that this year Astrobot's going to be the PlayStation game is kind of weird, because there's so many PlayStation IPs that they could have been using this entire time, but because they have, and what I'm trying to get around to this is that I feel like Sony has become incredibly complacent and lazy because there is no threat from Microsoft to ever take second place, and they have no aspiration to beat Nintendo. You know what I mean?
Therefore, I think now is the time. Now, strike while the iron's hot. Release more Jack and Daxter. Release Sly Cooper. Make more games like those. Bring
No,
back,
they're not going to. They're not going to because
bring-
they're not going to try to fight Nintendo, but they don't have to do
bring
anything.
Back Sackboy.
But here's the thing.
Sackboy again.
And what I'm trying to say, Alchem, is that they don't have to because they're so comfortable in second place that they don't have to do anything.
But they have no games.
Yeah, and yet they're
don't
still
need
in
to.
second place.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of
Because
those.
Microsoft
they don't
is Microsoft is I don't even know what they're doing.
They don't do nothing. Well, I mean, okay, Microsoft is playing essentially what okay, aside from the weird Game Pass stuff that they're doing, which honestly I don't understand what their end game is, they're doing what Sega did. They're politely bowing out of the console market. And well, not yet because it's
But
still
like, well, the problem is that
console, if I'm
they're
not
like
mistaken.
trying to say that they're not doing that, but it feels
Yeah,
like
but
they
it
are
clearly
doing
looks
that.
like it, yeah.
It clearly looks like they've given up,
Yeah.
and I just don't
I'm
get it.
just like, so
Because
we have
because the problem is that you
that.
can't, because like the biggest problem with Game Pass right now is that it's limited to Xbox. Game Pass would be an actual what's it called? It would be a profitable venture if it was on the Switch.
yeah.
Especially because you're Microsoft, so you don't need to worry about because you don't have to worry about the Switch hardware because you also have the best cloud gaming service in the world. So you just use that cloud gaming stuff for the Switch, and Game Pass is on the Switch with that service. You double your subscriptions in in a day, and who knows what happens after that, you know? And it's just like, I feel like Microsoft just has to make a decision. Which then also makes it seem like then PlayStation is going to be even more complacent the fact that they're second place because they're not fighting Nintendo.
Nope.
Because there's just so many PlayStation IPs that just haven't been used in years. Like, why hasn't there been... Okay, this is a serious question that I don't know if you have the answer to. Okay, before I ask this, were you a Xbox person or PlayStation person? Like
Xbox.
Xbox. Okay, so I was also Xbox / we had a PlayStation 3, but like I was the 360 kid, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Technically I was the PC person because StarCraft, but like when I played games with my friends, I played Xbox generally for a while, and then we switched to like StarCraft and League because that's the route I went. But like I remember playing Uncharted on PlayStation 3. Why? Where is the Uncharted games? Like,
they all finished up. I think they all wrapped up on PlayStation 3. Maybe there was one on PlayStation 4.
I don't remember there being a PlayStation 4 Uncharted game.
Nope.
Or
As
even
far
like
as I know,
I don't know.
I don't remember.
It was I don't know. Like, if I just start PlayStation 4 games, like new and upcoming games. No, I don't care about new and upcoming. Best games on PlayStation 4. Red Dead Redemption 2, not a PlayStation 4 game. Grand Theft Auto 5, not a PlayStation 4 game. The Last of Us Remastered, not a PlayStation 4 game. God of War. God of War came out in PlayStation 4, right? The first one?
Yep, God of War did.
So that's so the fifth game on thing is an actual PlayStation 4 game. Was The Last of Us Part 2 a PlayStation 3 game or a PlayStation 4 game?
PlayStation 3, because I remember playing that on PlayStation 3. I never got a PlayStation 4.
Oh, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End apparently was on PlayStation 4, but I think that was also
Okay.
PlayStation 3. I'm pretty sure this was both. I can't remember though. This might have been a re-release as well.
Yeah, no, that's the problem with the PS4. The PS4 era had just a
PlayStation
lot of
4
remasters that just came out for the same
exclusive
console.
games. Exclusives. Okay, I'm gonna type PlayStation 4 exclusive. PlayStation 4 only games.
Hmm?
Oh my god, it fits on one screen.
That's no.
Okay. Alienation. Never heard of it. Basement Crawl.
Oh, Knack.
Was Knack
remember that game.
PlayStation 4?
Yeah. What the?
Oh yeah,
fuck?
Knack
my
was.
God.
Okay. Basement Crawl, Blood and Truth. Bloodborne. Okay. Apparently Bloodborne was PlayStation 4.
Oh, The Order 1886. I remember
Order
that game.
1886. So apparently Bloodborne was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. I thought it was PlayStation 3.
Okay, that is a lie. Shadow of the Colossus was not a PlayStation 4 exclusive. That shit came out on the PS2. They just kept remastering it every single generation.
Yeah.
So the problem is I'm looking up at a quote unquote exclusive list of PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah, I'm on Wikipedia.
But even then, they're not counting. They're counting apparently remasters or something like that. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I don't. Yeah, there is some Shadow of the Colossus stuff here for me as well, but like even with that, it's still not a lot.
Horizon, Persona 5 Royale. Okay, that was a PlayStation 4. I remember
that.
that.
Infamous Second Son was on.
Okay, yeah, that 4. One too.
I actually really liked the first Infamous.
Oh yeah, Detroit Become Human was PlayStation 4 exclusive until it came out on PC.
Infamous First Light as well. Okay.
Oh my god, this list is just one page.
It's so small. Here, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It really was. It really do be the era of PlayStation 4 with no games on it. Yeah. Damn.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
You did not have the option. You did not have options. Wait, where's Metal Gear? Wait, Oh yeah, Metal Gear was on Metal Gear 5? Yeah, Metal Gear 5 was on PlayStation 3.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, Metal Gear, the last big Metal Gear game was PlayStation 3. Because Metal Gear Solid 4 was PlayStation 3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, which I want a remake of that because that was a great game.
So, Alchem, including the remasters. This is including remasters, remakes, and the 4 baseball games that were released apparently on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
57 games. That is nothing. Especially considering how the PlayStation 4 came out in like what? 2013?
You know,
PS4 release date.
Not have that much in terms of its own games.
It came out in 2013 and only has 57 exclusive games. That's insane. Like that's actually insane. Like nothing came out. Like, wow. I'm even surprised. I thought there was going to be more. And the fact that some of these are this is also going with the fact that this is also using like the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection is included in this, you know, like that's what I'm also including. I'm including also PT, which doesn't exist. Like, it's so sad. Like, and it's also why like gaming feels so weird. Because why would you spend like $600 on a PlayStation when, you know, it barely plays video games now? Because there's so little video games coming out for it. When you're expected to, so like the PlayStation 4 released 2013. When did the PS5 come out? PS5 release date. That came out in 2020. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So in 7 years, 57 exclusive games came out, including remasters and games that technically don't exist.
Oh, that. All right. So yeah, they were always right. Everyone was right. PlayStation, no games. Yeah.
There's just no games. And it's just like, okay, to be fair, exclusive aren't anything. They're not everything. There are tons of games that came out that weren't exclusives, but
Yeah, like
when we're asking like why would you buy a PlayStation, basically the majority of people would have said Bloodborne, I would say.
yeah.
Because the other
Yeah.
ones, first of all, I didn't even know there was more Infamous games. I loved in the Infamous one. To be fair, I didn't have a PlayStation 4, but like I didn't even know those games come out.
None for you.
And I can't believe
No,
I
they're
don't
not,
know, man.
and
It's
they're
just
not. The part that sucks and hurts the most is they said one of them literally said what I don't know the source of it, but I know it was one of the people part of the company and stuff is saying we have not fostered IPs. We have not
yeah, I
fostered
saw
any of
that.
our previous IPs and don't have any at this point. And I'm just like, nostalgia is a very, very powerful thing.
Yeah, I'm like okay.
All you need to do is Crash Bandicoot himself could do something. If you brought back
Well, technically
Sly
they
Cooper,
don't
it would
own
do
Crash
something.
Bandicoot technically.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
Because
Sly Cooper could have done something.
Ratchet and
Hell,
Clank.
bring back Ratchet and Clank could have been something. I mean, for goodness sake, Parappa the Rappa. I don't know if that's one of their exclusives, but they could have done something with
Parappa the
that.
Rappa. I'm pretty sure there's an Xbox version of that game, so I don't think that's exclusive to Sony. Wait, no,
And
I'm thinking of Viva Pinata. Never mind.
yeah, you're thinking of Viva Pinata. There's, I mean, they literally had a fighting game, like a Smash Bros-esque fighting game with all their IPs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They can't say they don't have IPs. It's just that they don't want to use any of the previous ones.
Yeah.
Or worse, they just lost all the rights because either they just didn't do anything with them, and eventually the
don't think
rights holders or the devs.
I don't think they have
know
lost rights. They haven't
do
lost
that.
rights, but they just don't use it. You know what it
Just
is?
don't wanna-
It's because
that-
when
that's
one
worse.
game, when one game doesn't sell well, they just immediately abandon it.
Yeah.
Like for instance,
And
the
just-
Infamous games. The Infamous games, I think, it wouldn't surprise me if these didn't sell well and then they just stopped doing it. To be fair, it was also Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch also made the what's it called? Didn't they also make Uncharted?
I think so. I honestly, because I never got to play that series, so I don't know.
Oh
Just-
no, never
I
mind.
just,
So they made they made Rocket Robots on Wheels. They made Sly Cooper. Then they made the Infamous series, and then they made Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. So they stopped working on Infamous because they started working on Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, you know what? That yeah. I still just it just hurts when you hear like we don't have any IPs for something that exists. Like I was not a PlayStation kid, and yet I know quite a few of their IPs that existed back then because they did stand out. They were good, but they just never they did either a trilogy of games, did a single standout game, and that was it. The only
Wait a
one
minute.
that had
Why is
like
Ghost
a
of
lot of different
Tsushima
games
not
was-
on this list?
eventually came out on console? No. Didn't it? Didn't it recently come out on console?
Wait, is Ghost of Tsushima a PS5 game?
Oh, it might be.
Ghost of Tsushima.
I just
It
so
it was both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So that's why it's not in the exclusive list because it was also PlayStation 5. Okay, so I mean, with that, there's at least more games probably added because there's this generation has had a lot of PS4 and PS5, but then that's also hurting PS5 because why would you ever upgrade?
I think again, previous generation had no games on it. This current generation has no games on it.
Yeah,
I don't think there's like a console seller for this gen, just like there wasn't one last gen except for Bloodborne.
PlayStation 5. Well, I mean, the
Bloodborne
God of
wasn't
War,
last-
the God of War games, I think, were the
Yeah, God
system
of War
seller
was the
for-
console seller,
and
but,
Demon Souls as well. Demon Souls for PlayStation
Oh
5.
yeah, I forgot about Demon Souls.
Because
I
playing
honestly
Demon
forgot that exists.
playing Demon Souls on the older ones is actually pain So like the remake was really necessary. um, yeah, I'll search up PS5 exclusives. PlayStation 5 only games. Wow. Okay, well, let me just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 on Wikipedia for PlayStation 5 only games. Does this count? Okay, this might count PC as well because I don't see Death Stranding. So this okay, so the problem is that when it says PlayStation 5 only, okay, what if we do Sony exclusive games? I don't know. This is difficult because obviously Death Stranding was a big game, but that also came out on. Wait, no, was Death Stranding on?
Death Stranding
Was that on
a
Xbox?
PlayStation 4? No, it was never an Xbox game.
Okay. Are you sure? I remember seeing people playing it on
Xbox. Let me double check just to be sure. I'm almost certain.
Let me.
Because I know it was a Kojima game.
Yeah, but Kojima isn't. They're not a part of Sony.
Yeah, but that was before that happened. That was before that happened.
Kojima isn't part of. They're not part of what's it called? The Sony.
Oh, maybe. Death Stranding. Maybe what console is Death Stranding on? PlayStation 4, apparently.
PlayStation 4, Windows, play it. Okay, so it's because it was on Windows. That's why it's not in the thing.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so this exclusive list is very specific. So if it's on Windows, it doesn't count it. Which, I mean, to be fair, that does mean it's not that does mean it's not an exclusive.
Yeah, and more reason why people didn't get the consoles.
Yeah,
and, I mean that's what our main topic was about. Just people not getting these consoles because there's no, like I said,
okay.
There's no
the
games,
Spider-Man games. The Spider-Man games. That'd be also
system
sellers. Those would be system sellers too. I would say so. I think you could give those Spider-Man games enough credit for that.
I mean, like that's like the only thing that they had credit for.
Yeah, it was the Spider-Man games and Demon Souls, I would say, and now Astrobot. Because also, I swear, was there a God of War game released for PS5?
No,
I don't think so.
I'm aware, no.
I don't think so. Yeah.
There's God of War, the new version, and then God of War Ragnarok, and that's it.
Yeah, I think so. Let me check it. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla.
Yeah.
Which was 2022. Yeah, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So it was released 2 years ago. So there's no exclusive one for PlayStation 5 yet.
And at this rate, there may not. Well, Astro Boy. I forgot Astro Boy. Astro Boy is the only exclusive. No, I'm kidding.
Astrobot.
Astrobot. Sorry.
I mean, like it's like you said, the Spider-Man games, Demon Souls, Astrobot, and I guess the Final Fantasy VII remake games. Those are pretty big. The Horizon games are also pretty big.
You and I are looking at the precipice of the death of the console era.
I don't think it's the death, but I do think it's Sony and Microsoft not understanding why Nintendo destroys them for some reason. And it's also, I feel like it's an odd scenario because I don't think it's death and gloom for Sony because they're still profitable, but it's just like weird that all of a sudden games.
Oh no, I'm not saying the end of the companies. I'm saying this is the end of the era of consoles. I don't think there's going to be a next generation after the current one. There's probably going to be one new PlayStation.
I mean, PlayStation console. 6 is definitely going to exist.
Yeah. There's one new Xbox console. Probably, I mean, Xbox probably has one more console in them.
Maybe.
If they can just learn what Nintendo has mastered, which is basically make interesting, fun, intriguing peripherals, and turn your console into something that you don't need to be glued to your TV on anymore, because almost no one is on the TV anymore. Like there's it used to be where people used to hang out and be there all together. That's
I mean, I think
sort
that's
of
still true to an extent.
it's it okay. I was gonna get to that.
I think
It was dying. That era was dying maybe like 10 years ago or like 5 years ago, but it's starting to come back again. But
maybe, yeah.
not to the same strength that it was back then.
I think the problem
back when it was
is
original.
that video games have stopped being the center for Xbox consoles and PlayStation consoles. Where like they're like, it's true. The PlayStation 2 was a really good DVD player, but there was also so many good games on there. You know, the 360 is known for online COD lobbies and Halo lobbies and like all that type of stuff.
I miss those days. Those
Like-
are fun.
Like the Wii was known for having every person in existence owned a Wii. It doesn't matter what type of person you were, you owned a Wii. You know? You owned a Wii and Wii Sports. But
You have a Wii.
yeah.
It came with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's gaming for some reason is no longer the focus for these video game consoles. You know, like I understand that Microsoft and Sony are bigger than just the video game section of them, like, but like the gaming section of Sony and Microsoft, which is the Xbox division and the PlayStation division, for some reason video games isn't the focus anymore. For Xbox, it's losing money on a subscription service, so I don't know what their plan is there. And for PlayStation, it's doing nothing and just losing money on video games and spending incredibly amounts of money on games like Destiny 2, which have been on the downhill for a long time, or Concord, which was doomed from the start, it seems like, and not doing their crazy good single player games like God of War anymore, or Spider-Man. Or like, because like those games were selling PlayStation 4s and 5s. That's the reason they won over Microsoft. But then all of a sudden they stopped doing it and started focusing on live service, and then lost so much money, I bet, on Bungie specifically, because they spent like billions of dollars on them, and Destiny 2 has been on a downs. All the news I hear about Destiny is how terrible it is now, even after the new expansion fixed stuff. But Bungie themselves are just like dying. And it just seems like they forgot that you need good video games to sell these consoles, because that's what they're made to do. Because and I think the biggest thing for me that sold it, Alchem, is the PlayStation 5 Pro. Because the PlayStation 5 Pro is so expensive.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 5 Pro is what, $700 US?
Yep. And when they showed off what it can do, it was, graphics are nice, but you didn't show any.
It doesn't even.
game
It
with
doesn't.
You didn't
Well, I
show.
mean, is it though? Like, does it? The graphics look better? I mean,
No,
not
that's the thing.
really. Like, you can't really
The
tell.
graphics. I literally looked at when I watched their video.
The comparison,
rewatched
I don't
and
get it.
Like, just like,
I
what
s-
is this comparison? I don't give a damn.
It looks like the same
This
game.
wasn't even. Yeah, it wasn't even that big of a difference at all. Like, I think maybe something just looked, the details in the far distance look better, but I'm on my console. I'm on a TV. I'm not going to be watching that detail. You're putting too much emphasis on the fact that things in the background look better, when I really won't pay attention to that.
Yep.
And in reality, just the main focus, which is going to be my character and whatever the heck I'm fighting or dodging or whatever, that looks fine in both consoles, or
Both
both
versions.
comparisons.
And not all games utilize the PlayStation 5 Pro's benefits too. So it's on a game by game basis as well, which is incredibly, like, the fact that you even aren't guaranteed that all of your PlayStation 5 games even benefit from the fact that you own a PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, it makes zero sense. And also,
Dumbest
by the
idea
way,
that you
in
could
Canada,
think of.
Alchem, the PlayStation 5 Pro costs
Yeah.
costs $959.99.
Oh,
It costs over $1,000 in Canada.
oh my.
And that's also the one that doesn't have a disc drive, by the way. So, like, if you own PlayStation 5
They don't
games,
have disc drive.
if you own PlayStation 5 games on disc, if you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, you can't use it because you don't have a disc drive. You have to buy the disc drive attachment. Also, all the advertisement of it standing up, that vertical stand is also extra. You don't get it with the base console.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the
You just
ads
made
that
me
you
remember
see
that
with it
one-
standing up, the vertical stand
Yeah.
is extra.
Those-
It doesn't come with it.
Yeah. But you just made me remember one other good point.
Yeah.
The disc drive is optional, meaning you don't need discs, meaning they don't intend to make physical copies of, or there's not. That's not.
I mean,
their
that's
end goal
always been a
anymore.
thing that's been like
Yeah,
the
but-
goal since like
No.
Xbox One and
But what I'm
PS4.
trying to say is, why do I need the console then? If I could just get a digital version, why couldn't I just get a PC? They're kind of just they're making themselves obsolete. If you don't need a console, if you don't need a specific device like that, you don't need a disc to. What's the point of the console then?
Well, in theory, it's
Yeah.
to play the exclusive games, but we've also established that there's barely any exclusives for these consoles.
They should honestly, what they should do, which I don't think they're gonna do, but they should just do what Fortnite did. Just make their own little platform, make their own little thing where you sign up on the PlayStation Network, and there you go. You can just buy games there. That's it.
Well, technically,
But
it does
then-
already exist.
And yeah, that's true. But it's like again, there's no point for they're proving more and more that there's no need for a console, especially if you're not going to need discs.
The thing is that discs. I understand why. Like, okay, I understand them wanting to go digital, because digital, honestly, for video games makes a lot of sense. The discs are kind of a limitation in a lot of ways, and also a very expensive like cost to video games. So
They still
that's
cost $60 without the disc.
like I said, it doesn't make sense that they're still charging now $70 US for full price games when they're actually cutting a lot of costs, saving a lot of money by not doing it on disc. Which there's a lot of problems with that, but like, let's just go best case scenario. So with the digital stuff, it does make it better. It'll be faster probably, as long as you have good internet connection generally. But like, the problem is, once again, we're going down to the fact is that, okay, now in theory, no discs. The benefit of a console is you buy the console, you turn it on, and you click play, right? That's the benefit, because you don't have to go through because even though it's a lot better nowadays, getting a PC is can be very complicated. And if you believe any PC purists, you have to build your own. You can't buy the pre-made, which I disagree with. The pre-made PCs are fine. They'll work
now. Yes,
they're fine now. You can go to Best Buy or any of those Walmart or something like that.
Best Buy.
Okay. Well, like, as someone who isn't into as a person, like a generic person, the Best Buy PC is probably fine. Probably.
You're slime.
Look, I'm talking about someone else, not me. I wouldn't go to Best Buy.
Okay. Oh, okay. Me either.
Yeah. But like,
I've had one bad experience with them, and I never trust them for pre-built stuff.
Well, like pre-builts are hit and miss, just like anything. But consoles are also hit and miss, because when you buy a console, sometimes it fails. But like, in general, it's much easier to buy a console over a PC, right? The problem is that the consoles are getting so expensive that it's starting to be questionable, because pre-built PCs are under $1,000. So like, specifically for me in Canada, a pre-built a PS5 Pro is more expensive than a pre-built PC. Like a pre-built PC in, like, let me just check. Pre-built gaming PC. Canada. And I'm gonna even do Best Buy because like they're the most generic thing that you could go to, right? Like a pre-built PC in Canada. Yep. Okay, so this one technically there's a sale, so it's like $649, but it's on sale, saving $300. So it's like it's $900. It's slightly over $1,000. Like it's literally the same price as a PS5 Pro, and you can do more with the PC than the console. So it's just, I don't understand their thought process on this. You know, like, true, you can go crazy in PC. You can go to 4,000. You can go to 5,000. You can go to $6,000 PCs, right? But like a gaming PC nowadays, you can get one for about $1,000, right? Like you can do that. And you can also do it very easily with the pre-builts. Now, I'm sure any PC purist is crying and like rapidly typing hate speech right now, but like most people don't need the crazy specs that most people have, you know? Like you don't need a crazy good PC. Because also nowadays games also don't always work on console. You know, that's also another big thing. The differences between PC and console was that sometimes games don't work on PC. You know? Sometimes they lag a lot. But nowadays they crash and have performance problems just as much on console, I feel like, as on PC. PC is still a more extreme version, obviously, because there's so many versions. There is no single PC setup, right? So like so many things can go wrong. But consoles don't always work. Like sometimes the game doesn't work on it and it's just as bad sometimes. And I feel like they've lost the key factor of gaming consoles, of where the video games need to work and be good. Which I feel like it's so strange to me to say that they feel like I felt like the video game company has lost the thought process of needing good video games, but it's where we're at now. You know?
Is gaming over, Jelly?
No.
Is gaming over?
Gaming is as big as it's ever been.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. But
good, because I'm waiting for Dragon Ball. I want that to come out.
It's just so weird, you know? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
With poor decisions like Concord and lack of understanding that they have IPs, but they're not considering using any of them, or they think they didn't have fostered enough. I'm not surprised that they're not doing so hot right now. I mean, they'll still be able to be here for a few more generations.
I think so. I don't know if I agree with consoles disappearing. I just think they need to get their act together, or they're going to be disappearing, but not by their choice. You know what I mean? Like they need to get their act together, because like, I don't know. Nintendo needs competition, guys.
I'll say this: I don't think that the younger generations of gamers are interested in consoles anymore.
No, they're interested in
That's
mobile.
one of the bigger That's one of the bigger issues there, because
mobile gaming,
newer generation of gamers are not going to be getting consoles, and that's what's going to kill. That is definitely going to kill the console generation.
Yeah.
If there's no new generation of gamers who want it,
the new generation gets a phone and they play games on their phone or tablet, or they get a Switch.
Yeah.
They don't get an Xbox or a PlayStation. The older people are getting that. And the bigger thing is that the older kids, like the teenagers, aren't getting an Xbox or a PlayStation, so the younger kids don't want to be cool. Because I mean that was a big deal, at least for a long time, is that the older kids played Xbox and PlayStation. Nintendo was for babies. You know? It was the cool the cool older kids, but now everyone plays on mobile and tablet and stuff like that. And it's now the nerd parents are playing on console. So
So it
I mean,
literally
to be fair,
is-
it's the best. It's definitely also the best scenario for PC, which is where I play most of my games. So I mean, for me, it's good. And Nintendo's never going anywhere. Like the only console games I play are Nintendo games, which is funny.
It's why I honestly think that part of that part I mentioned with the newer generation of gamers not getting consoles much. That's part of the reason why I think that the console generation will be fading out soon. Plus, like with the added like poor decisions lately with the recent consoles, and PlayStation putting everything into Concord.
Well, not everything, but
Xbox 400 million.
Yeah, but they put 3 point something billion in Bungie.
Yeah, that's true. And Xbox just, I mean, Xbox is putting out games and also, I mean, we can clearly see they're not really trying when it comes to consoles anymore.
Xbox needs to make up their mind what they are.
Yeah, they either
Xbox
decide we're doing consoles or no.
Because like it seems like if you wanted to decide to just be Xbox Game Pass and try to get things, then stop trying to sell consoles because you're not even selling them anyway. You're just wasting money on everything. Everything is losing money.
PC, that's it.
Everything is losing money for you, Xbox. Decide to focus on something, please. Do better, Xbox.
Do better.
Because Nintendo is being Nintendo. Like I do think the whole thing about consoles. I don't think consoles are ever going to go away, because Nintendo always exists. Nintendo will hold
it's 2020. It's 2024. Nintendo's still doing what everyone else doesn't.
It's really Nintendo do what
Nintendo do what Xbox and Sony don't. Goddamn.
But because Nintendo will always be in the console market. I mean, the Switch 2, I think, is going to dominate. Whenever they announce it, it's going to explode.
If they literally just put out a console that works like the Switch, but with just a little bit better performance so it can handle their own games, that's it.
Well, it can handle third-party developers.
And it can handle but if they can do that, that is it.
Yeah.
They honestly, the only thing that Nintendo constantly missed the mark on is they have the same games that you could play on Xbox and Sony sometimes, except for the exclusive stuff. It just ran slower.
It's just worse.
That's it.
Yeah.
It just ran a little less, and all they have to do is the next gen just has to be a little bit more powerful and can handle those games, and that's it. They locked it in. Yep. They're done.
And they need to figure out online. They need to figure out online. They're getting better, but man, do they still not understand online.
Yeah. As long as they get a slightly powerful console that can handle those games and have a better online system, the other consoles are done. It's a wrap. I mean, they already have. They have the one thing PlayStation is like, oh no, woe is us. We do not. They have IPs that they fostered since the beginning. I mean, Nintendo is. I mean, Mario is now like in his 40s or 30s or something.
Yeah.
Like
hell,
since 1980. Sega literally has Sonic, which they've been fostering for the longest time. I think Sonic's 30 something, and he now has movies coming out and everything, and PlayStation's got nothing.
I mean, they have a lot of things, but it feels like they have nothing. And Xbox has Halo, but I don't want to talk about Halo. Halo makes me sad.
We don't want to. Look, they dropped since they never did anything with ODST. I'm done with them. They did Infinite,
Halo
which was stupid.
Infinite was such a waste of potential, man.
Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like all they had to do was just expand the Halo universe. There's so many other stories besides Master Chief.
Stuff. I mean, it's not even just that. It's just like my problem with Halo.
ODST proved it.
Yeah, my problem with Halo is that the 343 thinks they keep making good Halo games, but they keep making bad Halo games. Halo 4, 5, and Infinite are not... Like, Infinite was the best one out of them all, but the problem with Infinite is that it took you 3 years to finish the game when you released it.
Bungie, come back. Take over Halo again,
Bungie
please.
is even worse. Have you seen Destiny 2? Bungie is even worse.
Never mind, Bungie, go away. Go.
Microsoft,
go
please. Microsoft, please give someone else Halo. Let third parties make a Halo game. Become what you need to do, Microsoft, is say, hey, third party developers, who wants to make a Halo game? And
Jelly in the
then
boardroom talking
so
to everyone.
many no, and so many companies will come up and say, how much money do we have to give you to make a Halo game? And just let them talk to you and let them tell you the crazy amounts of money they'll give you to be able to license out the Halo IP for one video game. Like that's what I don't understand about Microsoft, because so many developers would love to make a Halo game. The only problem is you have to, like, the Halo engine is very unique. So that might be more difficult because no one knows how to use the Halo engine, which is one of the reasons why Infinite is so weird. So maybe you have to give up the Halo engine, which I don't know if I agree with. I think you should just stick with the Halo engine. But that's also why. But I also think the Halo Infinite, one of the reasons why it took so long is because the contract workers that learned the engine were let go. Because that's how the video game industry works now. No one is an employee; everyone's contract workers.
Yeah,
but, you know, that's a whole that's a whole separate topic that eventually we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But
the idea that you don't work for the company, you're just temp.
You're a temp. Everyone's a temp.
But your skills that you developed, and only you have these skills. It doesn't matter. We'll teach it to someone else. They'll learn it.
Which is not a good thing, because especially with Halo Infinite, because the Halo engine is so weird.
Especially with game developing, with the community being all emphasis on crunch time and meeting deadlines and everything.
Yeah. It's bad.
Oh well, that's again another topic.
That's a single episode for the podcast probably. But anyway,
I'm calling it now though. My prediction is this current generation.
Yeah,
if there
PlayStation
is
5 and Xbox Series.
If there is less than 50 exclusive games, no, less than 60 exclusive games, or at least some that are like.
When you say exclusive, are you including PC?
I'll include PC.
So like generous. PlayStation 5 and PC, and then Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's less than that, no, if there's less than 30, considering that they're like, oh no, we don't have any IPs. If there's less than 30, then PlayStation consoles are done. They're not going to have another one after that. And if they are, it's going to be gimmicky as hell.
Yeah.
And Xbox, I don't think they're going to. I don't need to say anything myself. I think they are going to decide to just go the route of like Sega.
Like Sega, yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to be third party.
I mean, they're basically are at this point.
Yeah.
Without admitting it, they're still saying that they're trying to be exclusive, but like it really feels like they're not. But we'll see.
I just feel like if the next generation of PlayStation is a flop, then that's it. We're done. That's a wrap on consoles.
Yeah. Okay, for PlayStation consoles, because like I said, Nintendo will always have a console.
Okay, I don't consider like
Nintendo is their own. Nintendo is their own like they're in their own sandbox.
Yeah.
Whenever they used to be.
Sony.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying PlayStation and Sony are the horses in this race, and I'm considering. PlayStation
is just Microsoft and Sony. You
Microsoft,
said PlayStation and Sony. They're fighting. I mean, to be fair, it feels like PlayStation is fighting themselves at this point with their decision making.
They're beating themselves up at this point.
With their decision making.
No, Microsoft and Sony are the two horses in this race.
Yeah. Because Nintendo won.
Nintendo's off doing their own thing.
Nintendo won.
They don't need to get involved.
They're first place. Nintendo won in first place, so someone's got to fight for second place. But the problem is second place isn't really being fought for. And it's strange, very strange. But I guess it'll be a wait and see thing, because there's only one thing we can really do with that. So yeah,
all we can do is game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy because I'm mostly a PC player, and the console games that I do play are Nintendo for their Nintendo exclusives. So like for me, nothing's changing.
Yeah.
So
can't believe we never got to play Concord. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
What a shame.
What a shame.
What a shame. My sarcasm.
So Alchem, why don't you do shoutouts?
All right. Well, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking by and enjoying the podcast. My name is Alchem. I'm the little Tanuki VTuber who you can catch on Twitch. You can also catch my clips and videos on YouTube and TikTok. I just game and do anything that I find enjoyable. And, well, if you guys want to watch my streams, feel free to hit me a follow at twitch.tv/Alchem Games. For those watching live on the podcast, you're already here. You should already consider following if you haven't. And if you want to continue supporting me in other ways, there are various other ways. Like my post, follow me, watch the streams, follow. I mentioned follow. Did you follow already? You better be following. Okay, and the basic ones are just bits, donations, Patreon, and coffee. If you ever want to donate, sub or whatever. More importantly, I just hope you guys enjoy as me and Jelly continue to just bring up cool conversation topics during the podcast.
Yes. So everyone, I am the Techno Jelly. Please go over to my YouTube channel. For the live viewers, go over to my YouTube channel, hit subscribe. If you missed any part of this podcast, it goes up on the same day to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to check it out, we also have a playlist of Two Buds One Podcast. If you've missed it on any other episodes, it is also a podcast on YouTube. So you don't even need, if you have the YouTube app, you can just play it, and you don't even need the video element as well. I am I do news / gaming news reports / video essays on YouTube now, uploaded whenever something happens. So generally every other day at least. My first video essay is going up on next Saturday. If you'd like to check that out, it is about Stormgate and how I'm sad about it. So that will be the first video essay I will be uploading. And yeah, I still do stream though on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'll be playing mostly Minecraft this week, most likely. And other than that, you can follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Next week, or next podcast, is going to be the special episode 30. Alchem and I will be doing something special. We're going to be fighting each other just like we do on all the special episodes. What is the current score? Let me check. Actually, I have the current score. Where
I'm
is
winning.
it? The last two, we are tied. I won 2 Truths, 1 Lie, and you won 10 favorite things.
Oh,
so
what
we
the
are
hell?
tied
I
1-1.
can't stand.
We are tied 1-1, so we'll see who wins next time. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.